Hello everyone, this is Susan Jones with Excellence Real Estate, the Vega team. And today I'm coming at you with a video that's not real estate related. And this is the first time I am putting something out there on social media that's so personal. Those of you that know me and follow me know that I don't put my personal stuff out there on social media for the world to see. This is a video that comes with two messages that I feel are very important to get out there. And there was an event that happened a little over a week ago. Not to me directly, to someone very, very close and very dear to me. My little sister. We're only 2.5 years apart, and we were very close. Our whole lives. And I can't imagine my life without my little sister. And a little over a week ago, I was faced with the reality that my sister may not always be here with me. And we don't know what tomorrow will bring. We don't know how long we have. And yeah, I almost lost my little sister. She's still here with me, but the events that happened made me realize that, life is short and we need to start taking a look at what we're doing, how we're living our lives. And, there's things that we should probably all be doing that we don't. We always think we have more time. Let me go back to a little over a week ago, the morning of Thursday, December 5th. I was getting ready for work, running through my head all the things I had to do, get done that day. As soon as I got in the office, exactly what I was going to be doing, trying to just making a to-do list in my head. And the phone rang, and I looked down. It was my sister, and I answered the phone. And for a moment, I was confused. It wasn't my sister. And I looked back down at the phone, and it was her name. And I remember saying, "What did you say?" And it was my brother-in-law. And he said, "Your sister's had a heart attack." And I immediately asked if she was okay, and he said, "I don't know." He said she hadn't woke up yet, and he wanted me to call my dad so that my niece could give him a call. Nobody knew what had happened yet. And later that day, or that night actually, I was at the hospital, and my sister was, she was moving around a little bit, and she was talking, and I asked her what had happened. He said, I'm just curious, how did it happen? How were you even at the hospital? And and the reason I asked her this is because I had been talking to the nurse out in the hall, and she told me that my sister was a very, very lucky woman, and that had she not been in the emergency room that morning when this happened, that she would not be there, because she went into full cardiac arrest, and she said that they would not have had time to save her had she been at home. So I asked my sister why she was at the hospital. I said, so what happened? And she told me that she woke up and was going through the morning routine, and she'd had stomach pains, and she, was going through her head all the different things it can be, and it just got to the point where they were so bad that she went to her husband and asked him to take her to the hospital. And she had got to the emergency room and had just sat down in the chair in triage. And she said that was the last thing that she remembered. And apparently she fell over on her face in full cardiac arrest. And they had to use the paddles to bring her back. And I almost lost my little sister that day. And I wanted to get 2 messages out there as a result of that. And I knew driving home that night that I would eventually be doing a video, and it's taken me this long to do it because I still have a hard time going through what happened in my head and knowing that I could have lost my baby sister that day. I thank God she's still here. And I was able to tell her how I feel about her and how much she means to me. The first message I wanted to get out there was actually that we should not take our health for granted. We should listen to our bodies, and if it's trying to tell us something, if it's sending a message for her, it was pain, she's having stomach pains. And as women, we tend to kind of say, I'm just gonna suck it up, got to get through the day, I got things to do, family to take care of. And we just kind of push through whatever it is that's going on. And that's one of the reasons that heart attacks are more fatal for women than for men. The other reason is because our symptoms are not as clear as they are for men. Both men and women, please, take it serious when your body's sending you some signals. And, I'd rather somebody go out there and go to the emergency room, go to urgent care, and find out that it was nothing, rather than just say, oh, hey, it's only this, it's only heartburn, it's only a little this, it's only that. And not go and get checked. And then your family no longer has you because you ignored some signs, even if they can be subtle. I have heard a couple of stories since then, including one that very same morning from my former boss, my former manager at the insurance company that my sister still works at. And he's actually her boss. And I called him to tell him what had happened and asked him to call my brother-in-law. And he told me a story with his mom, and he said that, for her, she had had some nausea, and a little bit of a fever, and that she'd just been a little bit sick, and they were on the phone with the doctor, and everybody decided that it was not anything serious, and they didn't do anything. They didn't take her anywhere. And later on that evening, she went into full cardiac arrest, and they lost her because they were at home, and the signs that had prompted them to make the phone call, nobody felt were serious enough to take her to the emergency room, and they lost her. And he said that I remember him telling me that morning that he wishes that they had just put her in the car and taken her to just get her checked out, and that if they had, she would still be here with them. So the message I want to put out there is that, get out. If you have something going on, if you have something that just doesn't feel right, doesn't seem right, it's not going to mean I don't know what the word is. It doesn't mean anything. If you go in and it's not that you're crazy. It's not that you're imagining anything. But it's better to be safe than to be sorry. And, hey, go in and let them tell you, hey, it's just some heartburn, and send you home, and find out that it's nothing, rather than waiting until it's too late. And then your family is looking at a future without you. And that brings me to the other message, which is we never know how long we're going to have. We don't know when it's our time. And that we should always let the people that are important to us know how important they are. Tell them that you love them. Tell them what they mean to you. Make time for them. So many times, so many of us, we go about our day, and, either we try and call someone and we get a voicemail and we say, oh, we'll try again later. Or we have a missed call, or even take a call and say, hey, let me call you later. And then we forget. We get so busy and caught up in everything that we're doing that we forget to call. And we need to stop doing that. We need to make that time, and we don't ever want to have any regrets. We don't ever want to say, oh, I wish I had just spoke to her one more time. I wish I had just picked up the phone when she called me last night, and I saw the missed call and picked up the phone and called her back, We don't want to live like that the rest of our lives, saying, I wish I had that one more moment, that one more chance to tell someone what they meant to me. And so take the moment to tell them, pick up the phone, make amends with someone over, if you had a little argument over something that was, you can sit there and look back and say, in 5 years, that wouldn't have even mattered. Why were we even fighting about it? Or I wish I had just taken that time to answer the phone and say, hey, you know what? What's going on with your life? And how are you doing today? And by the way, I love you. Don't ever let the last words that are between you and someone that you love be words of anger. And just take the time to let someone know how much they really mean to you. And I guess there's 3 messages, because the other one is, because we never know when our time is going to be up. Take the time to actually live. Don't run from moment to moment, meeting to meeting, without taking some time to actually stop and be in the moment and live in that moment. Actually be present with the people that are with you, and put all the outside noise, everything that comes in, and all of those things, all of the people pulling you all of these different ways, put all of that out of your head for a minute and just be there with the people that you're with. Whether it's your kids, whether it's your spouse, whether it's your siblings, your parents, your friends. Take the time to enjoy the people and to enjoy the moments. And don't put off things for another day, meaning, if there's something that you want to do, make it happen. You want to go on a vacation, make that vacation happen. Don't keep putting it off because someday may never get here. And by the way, this tree behind me, there are ornaments on it that I've had for 15, 20 years that have never been on a tree because I was so afraid that they would fall. One of the kids would knock them off and they get broken. I had these beautiful things and I never enjoyed them. So this year they're on my tree. For the first time, they're on a tree. And we have to live every day as if it were our last, so that we have no regrets. And I have one last thing to say. That's to my little sister. Christmas has always been my favorite time of the year, my absolute favorite time of the year. And there was probably a few years, in the last 5 years, probably several of those years, I wasn't as into it as I had been in the past. There were some things going on and I just wasn't able to enjoy it like I used to. And this year I was actually very much getting into this Christmas spirit and feeling my favorite holiday again. So I want to thank my little sister for sticking around and not ruining Christmas for me for the rest of my life. And yeah, I love you, little sis. Bye, everyone.